So it's my pleasure to introduce our speaker today. I believe everyone in this room is familiar with, knows something about Tom Baker. Tom, when I was getting ready to introduce you while they were singing, for some reason, and I feel to say this, I pictured a woman who seemed to be your mother. And I feel very strongly she wants you to know she's very proud of you. I could hear in my mind's eye a woman saying, "That's my little Tommy." Aw. I can just really feel that somehow. We're being thankful, and she's thankful to have been your mother. So she wants you to have that gift, I believe. And Tom always inspires us with his wit and his wisdom and his love. And so let's see what we have in store. Are we ready, guys? Let's bring him on up.
Oh, my mother's just like that.
Good, because I felt that so strongly. Oh my gosh.
Yes, my mother always said to me, "There's no telling what you're going to become." And she was right. Well, folks, a couple of weeks ago was Halloween. You remember Halloween? I'm going to go back rather than forward today to Halloween rather than Thanksgiving, because I want to talk about disguises. Well, on Halloween, the doorbell rings, and you open the door to a gaggle of witches and goblins and pirates. And if you had never heard of Halloween, you would think that all the misshapen creatures of the world had amassed at your door to terrify you. Blackbeard the pirate, who was a psychopath and a serial rapist. The Wicked Witch of the West, who tried to kill Dorothy from Kansas. And the Walking Dead, the haunting ghost, all terrifying until they speak, trick or treat. And suddenly you hear the voices of children. Blackbeard the pirate is the little boy across the street. The Wicked Witch of the West is the little girl from the bus stop. The zombie is the paper boy, and all with innocent voices asking for a little candy. Halloween is a picture of the world full of innocent people in horrible disguises. That's the way I think of the crucified Jesus. An innocent man in a bloody, terrifying disguise. In my first parish, we had a 15-foot-tall crucifix of Jesus dying a bloody and slow death. I would often pray in the church, and when I was praying, I would often wonder about what that bloody Jesus was about. Then one day I heard Mother Teresa on television talk about ministering to people as Jesus in his crucified disguise. That revolutionized my own ministry, in that I began to see the suffering people I dealt with as Jesus in his crucified disguise. The shut-ins especially, who I took communion to every first Friday, they smell bad, and they usually had a little dog. And the little dog, I would come in, and the little dog would rap, 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 rap. And if you didn't grow up Catholic, you probably don't know this, but in the Catholic Church, when people receive communion, they stick out their tongues, and the priest places the communion wafer on their tongue. Well, they still do. They still do, yes. Yeah. I know, it's okay. We like comments from the crowd. Little corrections, okay. Yeah, you can take it by your hand. But these were older people, and they were often traditional, so they would stick out their tongues. Well, that's quite a reception, don't you think? Well, here the little dog would be on my cuff, body of Christ, body of Christ, body of Christ. But when it was Jesus' tongue, it was a little better. It was pretty gross, but it was still a little better. Well, when I was in the seminary, I had a professor, and he announced one day that the only thing that died on the cross was fear. Isn't that a good thing? And some of the students whispered that this guy was a heretic. They'd say, oh, Jesus died on the cross. Fear didn't die on the cross. The literalist idiots. I thought the professor was brilliant. But we're all afraid that we cling to our fears like rafts in a sea of love. As a therapist, people have asked me for years how to get rid of fear, how to stop worrying, how to outrun the terror of their thoughts and the frightening echoes of their traumatic memories. How do I calm down? My friend Beverly Mason told me about a conversation that she had with her daughter, 6-year-old daughter Lily, about fear. And her daughter asked her why people fight wars. This girl was 6 years old. And Lily said, people go to war to conquer their fears. 6 years old, and she said that. Beverly then asked Lily how she conquered her fears, and Lily said, like witches? And her mother said, yes, like witches. And Lily said, well, I would have to find one first so I can see her. So you could run away or hide, her mother asked. Not run away, that would make me more afraid. And she would be behind me and she might catch me. I want to see her and what she looks like. Beverly loved that answer. And she asked her daughter, where do you think fear lives? And Lily said, in my heart. That's something. And her mother said, well, the fear is yours, and unless you face it, you will always keep it. If you face it, you may find that it is not too bad, or that you can deal with it, or that nothing is there. They both smiled at this conclusion. Now, I believe that at the heart of love is curiosity. At the heart of love is curiosity. And if you look into the eyes of fear, you will most likely see a child looking back at you through the disguise of jagged anger or cold hate or a sad face. The crucified disguise. If you are patient as well as curious, fear will tell you its secret in an innocent voice. It will say, fear is about loss. I think I might lose my life or lose what I'm worth, and no one would love me. Does that echo in your heart? The longing to be perfectly safe and loved and listened to, that's what we all want. We all want that from somebody. To be respected and honored for who you really are. That's what all the search is about. That's what the Bachelor is about, and the Golden Bachelor. And they're all looking for that. They're just looking for that. It's not really sex. Hell, at 74, you don't think of that as a really great thing, you know. It's kind of a memory. But we cling to our disguises. The good little girl, the strong little boy, the cool teenager, the perfect mother, the responsible father. That's a disguise. Or on the negative side, the addict, the alcoholic, the hypochondriac, the hoarder, nervous Nellie, or Debbie Downer. My grandmother, on my mother's side, who was a wonderful woman, would say to me when I acted up, "That's not the Tommy I know." And she never explained to me what she meant, but I knew what she meant. There was somebody in me that was inauthentic, or that was authentic, that I was covering up. We all want to be our authentic selves. We all want to be accepted for who we are, loved for who we are, not for how we appear or show up. Now, I have been fortunate. I have been a priest and I am a therapist. So for about 45 years, I have had people in front of me who became themselves. I remember a surgeon who was a member of my second parish, and he was repairing an ingrown toenail I had. And he looked up at me with the saddest eyes, and he said, "Father Tom, I don't have any friends." And he just kept working away. And I thought, well, Doc, why don't you stop working away for a minute and look in my eyes too? Because I'm your friend, and we're friends together. And in the moment, we were. And he relaxed. He did a great job on my toe. His disguise was that of a lonely saint. He took care of his family, worked hard, all those things. But he was just a lonely saint. As a therapist, I often see people drop their disguises right away. They say, "I'm not as happy as I look. My outside face is pretty, but my inside face is contorted with rage." One woman cried for practically the whole hour, then in the last 10 minutes started to smile and twinkle. She had to put on her disguise so she could meet and be accepted by the world. As a priest, when I wore my black clerics in public, I had two reactions from people. Either people would smile at me or they would avoid me. The people who smiled at me had had a good experience with the Catholic Church. I knew that. And the people who avoided me, who avoided my look or my words, had a bad experience with the Catholic Church. But a question was always in my mind when that happened. Do you see me, the man inside the suit, the person in here? And I always felt like a little child looking out from my disguise. Who am I behind my presentation? We always wonder that. Am I loved? Am I seen? Am I valued for the mystery that is me? Now, we live in a scientific culture. We live in a culture where you're always figuring people out. Why are they like that? What caused them to be this way? Was it their mother or their father? Was it a trauma in the second grade? Was it high school? Was it college? What is it that haunts them? What makes them the way they are? Yet underneath our disguises is a mystery that is us, that was caused by the mystery that is God. When we love the mystery of a person, we stop trying to figure them out or explain them. I remember asking my wife, Kathy, why are you the way you are? And she just said, I'm just me, damn it. Now, I want to do a little exercise I've done before to get in touch with your authentic self. This is called the disidentification exercise. It gets you in touch in an experiential way with the person you actually are. It's a very simple exercise. You don't have to look at anybody else but me. You don't have to get up and do exercises or anything like that. No, this is not psychological aerobics. It's simply this. I have a body, but I'm not a body. Repeat after me. I have a body, but I'm not a body. I have a personality, but I'm not my personality. I have a personality, but I'm not my personality. I have feelings, but I'm not my feelings. I have thoughts, but I'm not my thoughts. I have a past, but I'm not my past. I have a future, but I'm not my future. I have parents, but I'm not my parents. I have a disguise, but I'm not my disguise. I have clothes, but I'm not my clothes. I have a car, but I'm not my car. I have a house, but I'm not my house. I have a bed, but I'm not my bed. I am. I am. I am. You notice the shift? You went from having to being, from the disguise to authenticity. Because I am is the ancient name for God. Now that we know that we are one with God, it is the present name for us. I am. We are. God is. Thank you so much.